Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Luinish Masam Yakshon Labas Yitzchok. We're holding Metzia Daf Pezayin. We got to the Pezayin Daf on the top. The verse says, we'll continue now the Agatas, this following Omer is going to continue the Agatas with the story of Avram Avinu. It says that Avram Avinu said, I'll take bread, and it says he ran to the animals. So did he give bread? So he said he gave bread, and then he went and did a whole shechita, he did a whole feast. Tzaddikim do say a little bit, but they give much more. And Rishonim, they do the opposite. They say a lot, but don't do much. And this goes back to the Indian, we learn in Maseches Avos, the mice of Gdolim B'Chochmasa. Talking is easy. You want to go and do. The doing is the main thing we're focused on. Tzaddikim, they do more than they talk. While Rishonim, they talk more than they do. How do we know by Rishonim? We know in the effort. It says in the beginning, our effort says, give me 400 shekel. Not for any type of money. Avram was different. He gave him a very, very special currency. He only gave him country. He could do to the place the called Shkol Katira. In other words, there has to be a very, very currency that is being used always. Not every place is a much more important coin. I just want to area over here, and I don't have such clarity on it. The Gemara's mashma, the Pashim of the Gemara mashma, that Ephraim says, give me 400. And what changed was, he gave him, beginning said, just give me a regular coin, and he demanded to have the more regular circular coin. The Pashas in the Torah, when you learn about Ephraim, Ephraim was so much more. Everyone was willing to give out Avram the field for free. Just take it. Why doesn't the Gemara focus on the fact that Ephraim just said to give it for free, and the focus on the fact that he said a balmot shekel and he took a higher coin? Something to think about. So it says when Avram gave the food, it says Mari Shalosh Seim Kemach Soilis Lushi. It says Kemach. Kemach means a low grade flour, and Soilis means a high grade flour. So what did he give? Here you see that a woman is more stingy with guests than men. She says that he wanted to give her soilis, but she ended up giving only kemach. I in the Shumach Shom and the Daf and this Daf already said it out. They would give a few more explanations to understand how do we see that Sori Imenu was Iner Tzor Baruch if it was Sori Imenu. Ksiv Lushi Vasi Ugois says that Avram told him go make Ugois. And it says Avram Avinu brought butter, milk, and meat. Where was the bread? Avram Avinu was eating chulin. Betar is very careful to eat chulin, they're not tummy. That day she became nido when she went back to her 9, as it was later. Then she became a youngster again. And therefore, she made the flour tummy and they didn't eat the bread. Where is your wife? What is supposed to teach me? Didn't you that Sarah was snore, so they didn't see her? They knew that she was in the tent. They wanted to emphasize, look how special your wife is, that she is, and the oil she's snore. They wanted to send her, they told Avram to make sure to send her Kusha Bracha to a special union, and it also has to do with a special bracha that she gets, that she deserves that day. It says Elov, and it says that on Ayoy. Name the third Echeret Sheishal Adom B'Achsan Yoshaloi. The teacher, the person should ask, is the wife, the husband about the wife. How's the wife doing? The Rashi learns that it teaches you that meaning tell her that he has to ask on the wife. So Teza says, why does it say that that's on Ayoy of a love? It should be saying that that's on Ayeh Shabishtacha, Ayeh Sorishtacha. So therefore Teza says that we come to teach you that you should ask the husband of the wife and the wife of the husband. Ayeh and Ayoy. As if the Torah just says Ayeh. They asked about the wife. It doesn't say they asked about the husband. Teach you they asked them both. You're not supposed to ask, say Shalom to Yisho. You can do with through the husband. He says, but not to ask, not to send the regards. Just say how she's doing. Continues the Gemara, so the end, that's a Sarah said about herself. After the skin got old and there was wrinkles in the body, the skin became soft again, and the wrinkles straightened up. Became beautiful again. It says that Sarah Imenu said to how can I have children? She said to herself. She left. She said, I'm going to have children. My husband is too old. When Hakadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu, when he repeated what Sarah said, she said, how can I have kids? I am old. So like, what is Hakadosh Baruch Hu not say like she said? Tanya Bishwoel, Gadol Shalom. You see how Gadol Shalom. Hakadosh Baruch Hu Shina Boy Sheva v'Titzchak Sor b'Kibro v'Adon Yizoken v'Chtiv v'Amer Shalom Avram v'Nizakati. When Hakadosh Baruch Hu said it to Avram, he changed it. And again, I am sure Machshav on the Daf that Bnei Yisachar says there's also a push of Shah. The words, it can't just be there was a complete lie. It says she nursed one kid. Why it says bunny? I'm not believing Avram like ended the nursing of Yitzchak. Also, Suda Gedoyla. He made a big meal. Look at this old man and woman. They brought this kid they found in the street. They said, our kid. Look, they make a big party just to make this a whole joke. So Roman went and he gathered everybody in that generation. Sorry, Zimra is just saying, and so invited their wives. And they invited everybody. All the wives came without the nurses. Big Nace and her breasts grew like two, were opened up like two rivers, two minas, two springs. And she fed all these kids. Maybe she can't have children. Did they come from Avram? So the face of Yitzchak changed to be like Avram. Everybody said, Avram, Yitzchak, clearly Yitzchak is the son of Avram. It's a fascinating medrash that says that Avram himself was so suspicious that maybe Yitzchak is not his son. Until Yitzchak looked like them. Until Avram, people did not get old. People want to speak to Yitzchak. They went to Avram because Avram and Yitzchak look exactly the same. There was no aging. So Yitzchak and Avram look exactly the same. So Avram David, and he asked Zikro, Shema Avram Zokin Bo Bayomim. So you see Avram was Zokin, and the now you can recognize Avram is 100 years older than Yitzchak. You see the difference. The shaila is that you see before that Sarah had kamatim, right? You see it was wrinkles. So to see the true Saponim was different. People did not get sick before the death. There's a Medrash that says people walk in the street, they would cough and die. There was no sickness before death. Yaakov says Rashi, he can give his will and last testimony. He can go tell his kids what to do. They told Yosef, your father's sick. He now became choyle. It was the first time someone became choyle before his death. And the Shom Achshav and the Daf, we discussed what Kiyega brings over here. We do find people who were sick also before. And the simple understanding is, based on places in Moabasio, they were sick, but not sick of death. Sick and healed. But sick of old age leads to death that they didn't have. Until Elisha came, nobody was in his deathbed and healed. Once you get to your deathbed, you're done. Came Elisha David and healed. He got sick, and the sickness they died from. There was another sickness that he didn't die from, but he was supposed to die from. Actually, he had three machalos. He got three sick times. When he kicked Yechazi away, he got sick. That was not on his deathbed. And one, when he made the dinoikos, he caused the bears to eat the dinoikos when they said, so you see over here, there's one they died from, and you have the word Dashi now, 3. Chol got sick, is Chol another sickness, Hashem was, but that's the third one. Says the Gemara, goes back to the Mishnah, before you go out, make sure he says, I'm giving you only a certain, the father told the son, you have to make sure that he doesn't give more food than what's, than a small amount. Isn't a bread made out of kidneys? We pass big kidneys, regular bread, and kidneys, you know, that you table it. I mean, you have to add a vav. Kim Mordayo delivers. Mordayo delivers is the name of a river, which was, and deliver is the name of a river. Mordayo is a stick that you use to move out of the side. So it's a straight stick, and that's what you want to define the letter vav. It has to have a vav over here to say it's kat, pas, ve kidneys. You go based on being a medino. Come to teach you also. So I'm going to give you the salary like 1 or 2 people in the city. You give it the minimum wage. You don't have to give it like anybody else. You do an average between the. You go like meaning of medina. Rashi says bebeinanis. What he says. The Rambam, the Vilna Gaon brings that you do an average between the minimum wage and what he made up with him. So the big of it means that doesn't matter what I said. I'll give you more, I'll give you less money. It wasn't conditioned on the poil. So you say the normal way is you're giving what's standard with some kind of limitation. So the Mishnah. So now the Mishnah is going to talk about the following. We have a din that when a worker works in the field, he's allowed to eat while he's working. We have 2 psukim about it. As the Gemara is going to tell us. So and similar to what we said, and that we're going to see later in the Gemara, how the Gemara compares them. Also by an animal. When the animal is working, you have to let it, not let block, not let muzzle the animal. So by Adam also, there's a mitzvah to allow the poil to eat while he's working. So after the Mishnah says, before we spoke about oichel midirabanon, right, when the Mishnah said, there's a special thing you have to give the poil to eat, right, a circus of poyalim. So we have the whole discussion regarding the Rabbanim, the din Rabbanim. Here's me not tell you we have to give it to eat. So it says whatever is connected to the ground in the end of the melacha. When the melacha is, in other words, he's finishing the melacha. He's completing the melacha. It's going to exclude if he's not completing the melacha. For example, he's doing some oider, he's plowing around the field, but he's not finishing the harvest. And by Talush, talk about when the melech is not finished. As we'll see all that in the Gemara. But it has to be something grows on the ground. That's when you have the obligation, the mitzvah to feed the poil. Here's the one who does not eat. The poil does not eat. Someone's working on the ground, connected to the ground, a on the base, when it's not the end of the melacha, like I said before. When it's disconnected from the ground, once it's finished. The melach is finished, and then he's taking fruits. He's just transporting fruits from one place to another. Or fruits and not gidul minarets. Says the Gemara. By the way, the Rashi's dugma of Nigmar Malakto is that he has circles of figs that were opened up. Right? That's what we're talking about. Says the Gemara. How do we know this? We're going to learn now the limudim to teach me about the poil. It says you go in the vineyard every friend and eat. So we're very nice. Vineyard. I know all the types of produce. We learn from vineyard. Like vineyard, it's something grows on the ground. We're talking when he's harvesting, when he finishes the malacha, the worker can eat it. Everything else which goes to the ground, it's the end of the melacha. So you learn from there. So vineyard is different because you chayav an oilus, special mitzvah to give the aniyim. There's some grapes there's certain grapes you have to give to the aniyim. So Gabir Mikama, let's learn from another pasuk. The Kama means from grain. Kama gufu min alaynu Kama. The chtiv ki tavoy bekama shreich. You come to the grain of your friend. But after we lose be'adech, you can take from the grain from the grain who's growing in the ground. Mala Kama shkriches bechala. Yeah, but Kama you have to do a fresh chala. So when we buy that Kama the mechaber bechala, who says this grain is talking about a grain who's chayav bechala? Dilmo kol Kama kol machwano. And we talk about any types of Kama. Right? Or even the ones that are not chayav bechala. Says the Gemara, ask Kama k'tiv ochel kisov Kama shmeach. It says Kama over here. K'tiv also machil chamesh b'Kama by spheres by the oimer. Ma also Kama l'chayav bechala because after talking about barley, ochanami Kama l'chayav bechala. So you know this pasuk talk about Kama, talk about a grain which is chayav bechala. Yikalam yirich Kama shkechez bechala. So again, back to the question. So Kama is chayav bechala. So how do I know all the produce? So go back to Kerem. Malak Kerem shkechez boilers. Kerem is chayav not the sanim. Kama techiach. The chazer adin go to the common denominator between the two. Read Lori Ezekir Ezeh. Tell the Shosh Sheboy what's a common thing. Shekedosh shekedu lekako grows from the ground. Shaz gam melocha. It's time to harvest. Poy lechel boy and the poy eats from it. So if so, have cold dosh shekedu lekako in the grows from the ground. Shaz gam melocha poy lechel boy. So that's what you learn. They both go in the Mizbeach. The grapes, the Sochim go in the Mizbeach, and Kamo is the Menachas. Also, now Mitzayis, you want to learn something, you learn olives. The East Beats on the Mizbeach. You can put olives on the Mizbeach, and you put oil. But, so the immediately I learned that, but everything else not. So, 1 second. This common denominator teaches you only olives. To olives, do I need that? It's called a vineyard. It's a clear pasuk that calls an olive a vineyard. It's called a kerem zayis, a olive vineyard, a vineyard, not a regular vineyard. So that's what you can learn it. So we make the question, how do I know other things? Chamesh means the sickle that you use to harvest the field. The Rabbah is called Ba'chamesh, anything that you harvest. So I want to teach you that only while you're sickling, while you are harvesting, you eat, not before. Just don't put it in your vessels. After you're harvesting, you can put it into the clean. Take the Ba'chamesh. Okay, back to the question. So you teach me anything that you use a sickle to harvest. What about items that you don't use a sickle to harvest? Rashi says like olives and dates. Hello, I've told about kamo. It says it was kamo. Kamo means it's a tvua that stands up, grain that's standing. That was called by the kamo, any grain. You just said before that's only chayav. Before chamish, I wanted to say exclude and say only things that are chayav. How should I say chamish? Now that I know that everything they use a sickle. So it includes all the grains that don't chayav b'chalo. Sharply called for chamish. Avogadol mechayav b'chalo. I already know because the chamish tells you that. So kama lamali. So what do I need kamo? The herb is called bali kamo. Oh, so now I know every grain, everything that goes in the field. It's going to ask for the nafkol mechamish or mekamo. So chamish teaches you that you have to tell you even nafkal. Once I know nafkal, I say anything common, anything that grows, which really includes everything that grows in the field. So if so, what do I do the pasuk of the vineyard? That pasuk teaches you the halachas that you have regarding this idea of a poil eating. We talk about later. It says when a worker works by you, don't wait to pay him back. You have to pay him that same evening, by evening. Talking here about a poil and not talking about a kablon or an aris or a sharecropper. Talk about a poil. A Jewish vineyard, not a Goyish vineyard. Even say you're not allowed to steal from a guy, so I'm telling you, you have a limitation regarding that. That's why you need a plus for that. If you're allowed to steal from a guy, of course a worker can take. So I can explain the pasuk. When you have a vineyard belongs to that, you can't eat it. You have to eat and not suck the liquid. And the Yeshiva is more clear. If you suck the liquid, what's going to happen? You can eat much more. If I just suck liquids, I'll be eating 100 grapes. If I eat the actual fruit, so you eat much less. If you're working on the vineyard, you can't go and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to eat also a little bit from the wheat. Only what you're working on. You compare it to the nefesh of the Bava. That's the nefesh of the This is going to elaborate next half. That by nefesh, when a person, the Bava himself eats, he does not have in meiser because it's still not obligated meiser. It's still not gemar melocha. You didn't finish the harvest. You're not chayav. So a worker works. He eats. He's not chayav in meiser. Savecha. What do you do with the pasuk? The word savecha. You can eat normal food. Don't overeat. Only normally. Don't put it into the vessels. When you put it into the vessels of the Bava, that's when you eat. If you're not putting in the vessels, you're not eating, meaning only like more than before. Only the gemar melacha you eat, and not before the ikar time that a pearl can eat. It's only time of the harvest when he's putting fruits into the cave of Bava. That's when the pearl can eat. Just to mention that right now in the Dafyomi Yerushalmi, we're learning Meseches Maasros. And Meseches Maasros over there speaks about this whole Gemara, this whole daf, this sugyas. It's all elaborating the sugyas of the Yerushalmi and all the drushes that we learn over here. And good thing is to go maybe compare the Yerushalmi to Bavli to see if everything fits exactly the same. We'll stop over here, and Be'ez Hashem, we should have a wonderful day.